Hello everyone, I am Cheri and this is week 3 of me doing a little check-in for the whole food plant-based diet that I started. I've got some notes, so I want to share just a few things. If you haven't watched the other videos, this is really kind of an accountability, a weekly accountability for myself. That's why I'm doing the videos, but I'm hoping that maybe it will help other people as well. And it's kind of like a test, because to see how this is, if this is something that's working for me, it might work for some of you. And if you don't know, like if you haven't watched video 1, I had issues with prediabetes, ended up in the hospital because I thought I was having a heart attack, whatever. My heart's fine. Doctor recommended maybe doing a plant-based diet. So the reason that I started this wasn't, motivation to, I'm looking around, to, what do I want to say, not typical vegan. Grew up hunting and fishing. I love the outdoors, but I'm more doing this just for health reasons more than anything else. I know that there's some other good side effects that happen from it, but that's my motivator. And I think as I'm digging in, finding out more about kind of this new, somewhat, I guess it's not that new, but this movement of eating this way, there are a lot of people I think out there like me who are eating more vegan, plant-based, not because of the animal motivation, but because of just health and proof that it makes a difference. And so a couple things. I'm week 3, like I said. I'm 215, so I've lost a little bit more from the very first video. I don't really have a goal weight. I want to try to get to where the pre-diabetes has been reversed and I don't have issues with elevated sugars. And yeah, so that's why I'm doing it. So I feel better, and I do. I mean, I have energy. I used to, be wiped out all the time. I took, and I think I shared this last time, I took Melaleuca, like, I don't even know what it's called. What's it called? It's like a pack of vitamins. And I know there's all kinds of brands of out there of different vitamins, and you can do like the whole pack, and it has like, your fish oil supplement and your calcium and your multivitamin and all of that. And that was kind of, honestly, I think what kind of kept me going for energy were those supplements. I'm no longer taking those. I only take a B12. I think I'm probably going to add in a vitamin D too, because I don't get a lot of vitamin D also, not two, but because I don't get a lot of sun, and I'm doing a little bit of digging, and I think that might be helpful. And I think I'll probably get that from Melaleuca as well. So I'm taking like a B12 supplement, and I think I talked about that last time. But I want to talk about the energy, because I started out with this, right away I started out with a diet, which I know most people, they tell you to gradually go into it, which I probably should have done now that I've done a little bit of research, but I'm an all or nothing person. So I'm either in or I'm not. I'm either in or out. There's no halfway kind of thing. That's just kind of my personality type. Maybe it's like an addictive personality type. I don't know, probably. But anyways, that's who I am. So I knew if I was going to do it, I have to be all in. So started with the diet, started walking right away, which I had done that before COVID. I had started walking, and then COVID came, the couch came, all the things so I wasn't moving. I wasn't getting out and moving like I did before. And honestly, it's kind of like, and I know there's people out there that can relate to this. I'm what would be considered, obviously excessively obese. And not, as some would say, not athletic, because I'm not doing anything athletic now. But the way that I see myself is I'm an athletic person. As a child, I was always moving. I was always doing something. I was in gymnastics when I was young. I did dance. I skateboarded as a teenager. I was constantly doing stuff. And then once I started having kids, I didn't do it anymore. But like the way that I see myself is athletic, but I didn't have the energy to be that way. And so this is the thing that I want to really share is, and not to cuss, but I got to tell you, I feel like we're all like on the regular Western diet. And even those of you who are eating more healthy, where you're eating like, chicken, because we think that that's healthy, right? Well, you got to watch Forks Over Knives or some of the other videos. There's other documentaries that I've watched out there. But Forks Over Knives, I think, does a really good job of just really telling you the facts. And, but anyways, okay, so you're working out, you're eating healthy. Let's say you're even, you're doing the low carb, the keto, the keto, the paleo, or whatever. I watch it on Facebook. I watch people in my group, in my friends list, who are doing really well walking and with their eating, but they're eating those types of diets. But the thing is, it's a constant battle, because the fuel that you're giving yourself, I think that it ends up being an issue of wills. And this is the way it was with me. I could be wrong. Maybe for other people it's not this way. But I would want to do stuff, but I just didn't have the energy. Or I'd get started, but I couldn't stick with it. And part of that is because you're willing yourself to do it. You weren't putting the fuel, you're not putting the fuel in to make you want to move. And this is the thing. This is why I think, like, people kind of start to hate vegetarians and vegans, and because they're always preaching about their diets. And I'll tell you why, because I now know. I think about it as like drinking the Kool-Aid. We all think we were doing something healthy before, and even those who are working out and doing the things, it's a constant battle, and you fall off the wagon and you do it again and you do it again. It's a cycle. It's a wrong way to look at it. And once you get to where you're putting in the correct fuel, the things that aren't weighing you down, and for me, as I found, the proteins, the animal proteins, the dairy, I think the dairy is a big thing, guys. I think it's a huge thing. It's like, having weights on your feet. So you're constantly fighting this battle. You might think you're eating healthy because you're not putting carbs in your mouth, and it's a temporary fix for your sugars or whatever, but it's not a permanent one, and you're gonna fall off the wagon. I can guarantee it. I can see I'm 3 weeks in, and maybe I'm wrong. Maybe we'll get to week 4 or 5. I'll fall off the wagon, and who knows? And I'll be honest with you if that happens. But what I want to say is, once you feel what I'm feeling right now, you're going to be pissed off, because you're going to feel like, why the hell didn't somebody tell me this sooner than now? And I think that's why people who are like vegan or vegetarian, they're telling you, you'll feel so good, you'll feel it. And now, mind you, you can be a vegan or a vegetarian and eat crappy food too. So this diet that I'm on is a whole food diet. I'm not eating, I'm not going and getting vegan mac and cheese, even though I want to make that like in a box. It's not a process. I'm trying to stay away from the processed food. So there's ways to eat absent of the animal protein and still feel like crap because you're not eating whole foods. But anyway, so that's my little preachy thing, because I think, and hopefully someone out there that's watching this hears that, and you get you flip the switch, watch Forks Over Knives if you haven't, along with what I just said, and give it a try. I mean, I know initially the doctor said, well, do meatless Monday, just start to cut out the meats. And I know why he wanted me to, because if you do any digging, guys, you'll just be floored. Follow the dollars. That's all I can say. Follow the money, because it's not, we're being sold a bag of bad apples, or should I say bad steaks, or bad chicken. Because I got to tell you, I was sold on the chicken's healthy for you, and chicken is not healthy for you guys. So anyways, okay, so I'm going to stop preaching, but I want to tell you what's happened. So a couple things have happened. I haven't went back to the doctor yet. I do that on the 9th. I have my follow-up. So I have to go in next week and do like fasting blood. He's going to check my lipids and all of that. But for Darren, for our insurance, I was supposed to do like this health risk assessment to get a discount. I'm sure y'all are familiar with that, for any of you who have that with your insurance. And because of COVID, I hadn't done it. So I went and did that just this week. And they did like a quick cholesterol. They did the sugar, blood glucose. They, weighed me in, height, blood pressure. Okay, my blood pressure perfectly fine. Sugar, good. Cholesterol has come down from the hospital, but listen to this. My triglycerides were through the roof. And I'm like, oh my gosh. I was like, what? She said, well, it's probably something that you ate. And, if you look up triglycerides, it has to do with fats, right? So I thought, I haven't had even an ounce or D of olive oil or anything. The only fats that I'm getting is I eat a sprouted grain bread from Aldi that has some oil, a little bit of oil in it, and I don't have a lot of that. So that's one place where I've gotten oil. I have not put oil on anything. So any fats would be from nuts, which I'm trying to limit, and avocados, guacamole, which I'm trying to limit. So I'm not getting any fat in my diet. So I'm baffled, and I'm kind of floored that she's telling me this, but it wasn't a fasting. So I'll do that next week and we'll find out what it is. So then she goes on, this sweet little woman, talks to me about, you know, well, I have to come back in because with the health risk assessment, if you have numbers that are this high, I'm going to have to, so they wanted me to do the fasting there. The lipid, I'll do it with the doctor and we'll see how it is. I'll transfer it up there. But long story short, then we go to leave. She's like, well, we'll talk about weight loss. I had told her what I was doing. And she said, there's like a pill that I can talk to you about. Well, guys, ugh. It just made me angry because it's so, and she's just doing her job, right? But, here I am eating as clean as I could possibly be eating. And she's like, let's get you a pill for weight loss. But whatever. So anyways, my triglycerides were 393, which was like baffling to me. So then I came home and of course I did the Google like research and apparently it's not uncommon for that to happen. And if you think about it this way, for me, I went from eating no carbs, 2 weeks of almost no carbohydrates at all. I was just eating protein and cheese, really. That was it. Maybe a little bit of like broccoli in there. That going into this diet, I'd cut after the hospital. I'd cut out like I'm getting rid of the carbs because I got to try to make myself healthy. And you know, I bought or drank the Kool-Aid that carbohydrates are bad for me. And I went from this very low to no carb diet to jumping into a extremely high carb diet with the, you know, I'm whole grains and fruits and it's all natural foods, but my body's like, what the hell are you doing? You know? And I think that's why the triglycerides are so high. And I think it's releasing the fat out of my cells. I haven't talked to the doctor yet. We'll have to find out. We'll have to see what they are. So anyways, that happened. So that's something that's somewhat interesting. The other thing I will tell you is prior to this, I didn't like garlic if I smelled garlic. And I always kind of like the taste of garlic. I like garlic bread, garlic stuff, you know. I wasn't a big fan. And now I'm addicted to the crap. I'm like putting it in everything. And fresh garlic in the press. Oh, like this new love of garlic. So with that, I found that my taste buds are definitely changing. I'm still not craving food. I do know I'm starting to read my body cues a little bit more. So if I start to feel a little funny, I know I need to put something in my mouth. I need to eat something. I'm able to like kind of like know what that feels like a little bit more now. I'm making sure I'm trying to drink enough water. Like I said, I'm lots of energy. I've walked 3 days in a row now, which I didn't before. I was doing that every other day. So now I'm wanting to move. And that's what I talked about earlier. This diet makes you feel like you want to do something with your body. And it's just it's an interesting effect of it. The other thing is, Allie and I had talked about this that I wanted to share, and I talk about feeling full. When I was a kid, and I know that there's some of you out there that can relate to this, and maybe you feel the same way I do, but prior to this diet, I really struggled with feeling full. Like I could eat and eat. Do you remember when you were a kid and you would make your plate and then you'd get to a point where like, I can't eat anymore, and your parents would get a little peeved at you? Like my dad would always say, your eyes are bigger than your stomach, you know, we're wasting food. Which is kind of a bad thing now that I think about it. But you know, that's common for kids. They're like, I want this, I want that, I'm hungry, da-da-da. They take 2 bites of everything and they're like, I'm done. And they don't want any more. Usually then they want a cookie or something else. But anyways, you know that feeling when you're a kid, you're like, ew, I don't want to eat any more of that. That's the way this is. It's that same feeling I had when I was a kid. I'll start to eat and I'll know when to stop. And it's just interesting how the other foods that I was eating, that was gone. It wasn't there. My body's ability to do that was gone, and how it's quickly returned with this diet. So then a couple other things that I wanted to share was that I'm kind of figuring out I'm using the meal plan with Forks Over Knives, but I'm picking and choosing what we like and making a custom plan. They give you a weekly meal plan, so you can just take it and there's a grocery list and you can just make all the stuff. Well, we're kind of figuring out what we like, and we've kind of started to know, so it's a little bit easier. I can customize it with the recipes that are on there. But I'm also and I don't know if I have my phone with me here. I'll share this with you. Before I was trying to work off of that list, and it makes it hard. If you're someone like me who needs to organize any list, we use with Darren and Allie, and we can all put stuff on the list. So now I'm trying to pull those recipes into that so that I can just put them on our grocery list. But something that I found the last 2 weeks here is, like, today is our grocery day. And we do have leftover veggies maybe that we didn't use or whatever. I'm doing like a soup. And I know as summer comes on, it's a little going to be warmer. Probably not going to feel like that. But you can just make like a soup and put all those, what you have left over, so it doesn't go to waste. So that's a little tip, and it seems to be working, like a dump soup on Fridays or whatever, the end of the week, whenever you buy groceries. But then the other thing that I just love cooking now. Like I like to try new things, and when I was researching initially, when I started new research, I was like, oh, it's fun to try new things. And I'm like, oh, we'll see, because I'm probably not going to like them. But no, it's interesting how that's kind of a thing now. So, but anyways, I wanted to check in. It's been, I think, about 15 minutes here, so I could chat about this probably all day now. I will tell you, I'm kind of researching a little bit more on, there's these two guys that do Mastering Diabetes, I think it is. It's a book. I'm going to get that, I think, because it talks a little, it's specific to diabetics and in a plant-based diet. And they also do like intermittent fasting, which I don't know anything about that. And so if you do, maybe you could share with me. But so I think I might dig into that a little bit more too, because if that's something that could benefit like getting my body kick-started to like healing itself, I might try it. But anyways, I will check in next week, let you know how it's going, let you know if I find out about my triglycerides next week to see where they're at with the fasting one. And if you have any questions, you can always shoot them my way. I'd be happy to help. And yeah, I'd love to hear what any of you are doing, any tips you have if you're eating plant-based, and any recipes that you absolutely love. I'm gonna try to make some vegan cheese with no oil cheese here this weekend to have on some baked potatoes, so we'll see how that goes. So anyways, thanks for watching and have a blessed day, and I will see you next week.